sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. We are just outside the city of brotherly love. On Big East Women's Basketball Opening Day, we come to you from the Finneran Pavilion on the campus of Villanova University as the Wildcats play host to the Providence Friars. Hi, everybody. Alongside my partner, Kim Adams, I'm John Fanta. Conference play is here, and last year the Big East sent 7 of their 10 teams to the postseason. Kim, how do you see these teams switch into a different gear when they start to play each other?
Well, John, we talked with players from both teams this morning, and it's clear the energy up, the excitement is up. Both teams have been tested in the non-conference. There have been ups, there have been downs, but now it's time to get to it, time to reset, refocus, and it's always an interesting time coming back from that Christmas break. Your body is rested, but we'll see if both teams come out sharp. We may see a few extra turnovers to start.
Fittingly, this is a rich rivalry between these two teams, meeting number 76 as we take a look at the Jeep Grand Cherokee starting lineups. Mary Baskerville is the Big East reigning freshman of the year, this year averaging 14 and 9 per game. And on the other side, it's the freshman of the year frontrunner in the conference, Maddie Segrist, who's coming off a 41-point performance against LaSalle.
She has been outstanding, 2-time National Freshman of the Week, and we'll see here in the next few minutes she can score from anywhere on the floor, leading this Wildcats teams in three-point makes and percentage.
The Wildcats in the home whites, Providence in the road blacks. The Friars, Mary Baskerville against Herlihy for the tip that belongs to Providence, and we are underway from the fin. What are you looking for early?
Looking to get Mary Baskerville involved, and most important for her, John, she has to stay out of trouble. That has plagued her so far to start this season. She's only averaging 18 minutes a game, so her Friars teammates and her coaching staff desperately needs to keep her on the floor.
It's going to be tough for these two teams to get easy looks. These are the top 2 field goal percentage defensive teams in the Big East. 7 on the timer. Janelle Williams with the teardrop off the window.
And that was some nice footwork there on the spin move. Janelle Williams, she is the type of player that really likes to get into the lane, use that mid-range pull-up game. Quick start for the Friars.
The Friars, 9-3 on the season. They won 7 of their first 8 games. And this is their 11th game on the road out of the first 13 as Herlihy is off on the 3 and Orlando with the board. Providence team only allowing 56 points per game, tops in the Big East.
You see, John, really spreading out this offense. Villanova runs a similar style, but they will look to ISO Baskerville down low, look for some opportunities.
10 on the shot clock here. Webb. And the bank is open for the Friars.
2 for 2 on banks, John. I guess they didn't take off for the holidays.
Nope. The holiday teller is in here at the Fin. Gadeka off, but an offensive rebound, and that was a concern for Jim Crowley, the Providence head coach.
Absolutely, rebounding, and it's a big area of focus for Villanova, who's really gotten beat on the boards badly in their last 2 games versus Temple and LaSalle.
Segrist off on the triple. This Villanova team started the season 0-3, but since they've won 5 of 7, and they come up with the turnover. Here's Segrist, the reigning National Freshman of the Week, puts the Wildcats on the board.
And there you see the versatility on display right away from Maddie Segrist at 6'1", the ability to get the steal, take it coast to coast. She can really get up and down.
Now another steal. This is Herlihy off on the fast break attempt, and it'll go back to the Friars.
I don't know if Coach Peretta recognizes his team right now. He's a slow it down type of guy. We see Maddie Segrist, that National Freshman of the Week, on display early, showing her arsenal of skills.
Oddly enough, Villanova, the -2 turnover margin, that's last in the conference. They are typically one of the top teams in that category every year as Baskerville travels.
Right, John, that has been, they are usually at about 9, maybe 10 turnovers per game. That number's up to about 13 this season, but they do have a lot of new pieces, a lot of graduated players, a couple transfers, so this is still a work-in-progress team.
We've got an offensive foul on Gadeka, who was looking for some space.
In foul trouble important for both teams here because for Villanova, so far it's really been a two-woman show. It's been Gadeka, it's been Segrist. Those two combining for 63% of the team scoring. So Gadeka wants to make sure she doesn't pick up that second one.
Segrist and Gadeka averaging nearly 40 points together per game. Baskerville, long this time, well defended by the Cats. Cameron Onken. This is the Villanova offense. A lot of flashes on the back door. Gadeka pulls and hits for three.
Mary Gadeka has really expanded that range. She already has more threes made this season than she did all of last season, so she knew that was a focus. They graduated Adriana Hahn, Jana Tucker. Those were some big-time three-point shooters. She knew she could help fill that void by expanding her range.
Now they go back into Gadeka, and the senior is running the Cats.
Gadeka showing a little inside out, hitting from three and then taking it down low. Some nice footwork. And Coach Peretta says she has some of the quickest feet that you will see from a post player. We saw it right there on that nice spin move.
She comes from a basketball family as Baskerville backs in and is stopped. Orlando comes up with it. Her mom, Lisa Angelotti, the Big East Player of the Year in 1988, played for Harry Peretta. That's how long Peretta's been at the helm. Here is Orlando, flips it up and in.
And John, we talked to a couple players about junior Olivia Orlando, and they all said she is the unsung hero of this team. She may not score a lot of points, but that play right there, going after the old board and laying it back in, she is the backbone of this team.
That was needed for the Friars. They lost Maddie Jolin and Yo-Yo Nogic, their top two scorers from last year's seniors, as James is just off.
Yeah, John, both of these teams really lost a lot of scoring. So Providence has had a lot of success early. Villanova a little more up and down in the non-conference, but both of these teams still growing that cohesiveness, figuring out their roles, figuring out their rotations.
Gadeka got a step and lays it up and in. Mary Gadeka with 7 of Villanova's first 9.
And that's 3 different ways of scoring for her on her last 3 makes. A 3, a post-up, and that time taking Baskerville off the dribble.
And now an offensive foul off the screen. This one's on Mary Baskerville. As the Friars give it away. Villanova getting powered by the senior Gadeka early on. Jim Crowley is in his 4th season as the Providence Friars head coach. 3 on the 4 years, the Friars have put up 8 or more non-conference wins, and coming off an 8-win Big East campaign, that was their most conference victories since 1996-97.
Yeah, Jim Crowley really has turned the culture of this program around, and he had great things to say today about Harry Peretta.
In his 42nd year, Harry Peretta will retire at the end of this season. He was hired at the age of 22 for $5,000. He's been here ever since. Unbelievable. And he is the dean of Big East women's basketball.
Incredible. Just always a pleasure to sit down and talk with him, as we had the opportunity to yesterday after their practice, and just you can't hear a coach say enough good things about him.
Friars with 4 early turnovers. See if they can put something together here as it's Geary, the freshman. That throw was cut off by Gadeka. That's a 5th Villanova takeaway.
And John, something to note, Mary Baskerville on the bench. We already talked about her problems with foul trouble, and just a few minutes ago was whistled for an offensive foul, so she is on the bench right now.
It'll stay with Villanova. We've talked about how it's difficult to guard Gadeka in the first place, nor alone getting an offensive foul.
Yeah, and that's something that can't happen, and she even talked to us about that today. She said, if it's a foul, I want it to be a good foul, a hard foul. So she's aware that that's something she needs to fix, but not a good start for her team.
A strong start for the Cats as Bridget Hurley delivers the 3.
And that is a welcome sign for Coach Harry Peretta, because as we mentioned, it's basically been all Maddie Segrist and Mary Gadeka, and they are trying to find that consistent 3rd score, that consistent 4th score. Bridget Hurley coming off a good game against LaSalle, hitting from deep, great sign for the Wildcats.
10 on the timer, that one long, and the Friars, who were among the top teams in the nation early on in three-point shooting, still in the top 10. They're 0 for 2 to start. Backdoor left open. Gadeka capitalizes. She's got 9. And a timeout for the Friars. What a start by Nova Nation.
And that is textbook Villanova basketball. Backdoor cut. Mary Gadeka hot early. Her team up 14-6 on Providence.
Villanova razor sharp on the gates in their Big East opener.
Mary Gadeka, one of the best cutters in all of NCAA women's basketball. She cuts with a purpose, she cuts full speed, and she gets a lot of her points on simple backdoor cuts like that. And Jim Crowley, coach of Providence, all he preached today in their shoot-around was make the baskets tough to earn for Siegrist and Gadeka. Well, so far Mary Gadeka has 9 points, so they're going to have to figure out a way to adjust. This is a pretty good sign for them. She's taking a break on the bench right now.
Out of the timeout, Erlette Scott brings it up the floor. Sophomore point guard, more methodical in her approach. That's what Jim Crowley says as Geary's off on the run. Erlahi, the senior, sister Brianna out for the year due to an ACL injury as Mullins off on the 3, but Erlahi hustling, and she was fouled.
Coach Crowley visibly upset. He is putting Mary Baskerville, their top rebounder, right back into this game. And again, that was another focus today. Rebounding, rebounding, rebounding. Villanova not known to be strong on the offensive boards, but so far they've just outworked Providence.
Bridget Herlihy off on the first, and the Friars come in with 36.5 defensive rebounds a game. Jim Crowley told us this was one of his top concerns, though, because he said it's hard enough to defend Villanova, nor alone give them a second chance.
And what's tough is they get another offensive rebound, Maddie Siegrist, but Villanova's offense forces you to be moving so often that sometimes you can get lost. You may not even see the shot go up. So you have to be so cognizant of not only where your player is, but seeing the ball and talking to each other. Shot is going up, so everyone's blocking out and crashing.
Opening day of Big East women's hoops play. John Fanta, Kim Adams with you from the Finneran Pavilion. The 3 road teams thus far have won in the conference. Seton Hall, Butler, St. John's at Xavier, and Creighton coming back to topple Georgetown. Thus far, it's the home Wildcats with the advantage.
And John, impressed with the defense against Baskerville so far as Herlihy goes in and out.
And Onken was fouled. Another second chance opportunity, and it resulted in 2 free throws.
And this is just a lack of focus right now for Providence. We mentioned it right off the top. You're coming back from Christmas break. You haven't had a game in over a week. These are the small things that you need to lock in on. Just too many second opportunities for Villanova.
First free throw good for Cameron Onken. The junior has already combined for more points, rebounds, and assists than she had all of last season. And Carrie Coretta really believes that she could be an X factor for them going forward.
And she does a little bit of everything on the floor. She's not one of their primary scorers, John, but she averages over 6 rebounds per game as a guard. She leads the team in assists and doesn't turn it over a lot. Second in the Big East in assist-to-turnover ratio.
Here's Scott, sophomore from New York. Love her playmaking ability. Spiewak. Kick out to Webb. Just off, and the Friars' shooting struggles continue. Just 3 for 11 from the field.
And when you're struggling from the outside like that, you want to try and get towards the rim, get fouled, get some free throws just to calm your nerves a little bit and see the ball go in.
Onken inside. Siegrist puts it in. Maddie Siegrist makes it a 12-point Villanova lead. Friars started 2 for 2, but they're 1 for their last 9. They need a bucket. Played 4 games in 5 days out west before Christmas as Baskerville finally ends the drought.
Mary Baskerville finally gets that bounce. She's had some really good looks, some good attempts. She's been in and out of the rim, but you can really see that elevation she has on her jump shot. That's tough to defend for this Villanova team.
And she's got the best hair game in the Big East.
Oh, I mean, that is hands down. Natisha Heidemann last year, Mary Baskerville coming for the crown.
A holiday green, Kim Adams.
Yeah, right away I thought, how the Grinch stole Christmas.
Gardler, Baskerville, all muscle. Friars can hold for the final shot if they'd like. Pull up for Cooper, an air ball.
And that can't happen. You have to hold for the last shot there, especially when Villanova has been shooting as hot as they have.
These Wildcats have won 5 of their last 7, and Gadeka has powered them with 9 first-quarter points. Through the lane was rejected by Cooper. Thrown out of bounds as the first quarter clock expires. It was all Villanova from the get-go.
And a lot of Mary Gadeka getting hot early. She's got 9 points, the senior. Looking to continue, but Maddie Segrest, she's been putting in work for the Wildcats as well.
Back here at the Finneran Pavilion, Villanova up 10 after 1, and even after 42 years, Harry Peretta's enthusiasm doesn't waver.
When you catch the ball in the wing, okay, you're looking, okay? But look at the lane, but also glance at the corner. The defender who's guarding the corner player is cheating in the paint. You understand? So if you see her, just throw the ball to the corner. Whoever's in the corner should be standing behind the three-point line, ready to catch it and shoot it, okay?
So Harry Peretta telling his team on this spread-out offense to look to that opposite corner. That has been open, and that's a risk that right now Providence is willing to take, because outside of Gadeka and Segrest, a lot of the players haven't hit. So they're willing to take that gamble and overhelp in the paint a little bit, but Harry Peretta wants to see his team attack that opposite corner that has been open.
Segrest off to start the second quarter. Arlette Scott down the lane, and the Friars now 4 for 14 from the field. Gadeka is the hot hand, 4 for her first 5. Raven James with it now. She's been clutch for Villanova, Wildcats team that won down at Georgia. And James with the basketball right now came up huge in that win over the SEC foe. 6 on the timer for the junior, who knocks down the J.
Raven James, a player that Harry Peretta really needs to get going. We talked about her and Bridget Hurley, really the two that can improve their scoring. And so far, they've been getting their looks, and you are going to get them because there's so much extra attention on Gadeka.
Baskerville travels with the basketball. What needs to change for Providence?
Well, some of the shots have been good. They just haven't gotten them to fall, but Coach Crowley talked to us, when they're struggling, the ball stops moving. There's a lot of isolation dribbling, so they need to get that ball whipping around and go a little bit more inside out. Villanova is doing a good job of containing penetration off the dribble.
Maddie Segrest with her first 3, and she's got 7. The combo of Segrest and Gadeka handling business with a combined 16.
And that's how it's been all season, John. And the focus of your defense has to be so sharp on them. And again, Coach Crowley said we need to make them earn it. It's been pretty easy for them so far.
The putback is good for Bristow.
Evan Bristow, big ceiling, an elite athlete, a high jumper. We'll see if she can add a little bit of energy to this lineup.
She threw down a dunk in high school as James answers, and that's a welcome sight for Harry Peretta.
Raven James capitalizing on opportunities. The same thing happened when they beat LaSalle. She'd been struggling from the field and then really knocked down some clutch shots in the fourth quarter. She's going to be given opportunities.
Webb gives the Friars their first 3, 0 for 5 before that. That's what they need more of, because perimeter shooting was this team's bread and butter in non-conference play.
Right, and it needs to start on the defensive end as well. They need to be sharper in their scout. They need to be quicker to the ball, and they need to rebound and get out and run a little bit.
9th in the nation in three-point percentage thus far. Nearly 40%. Gadeka extra pass. Gardler hoists and hits.
John, this may be a turning point on the season for these Wildcats. Coming into today's game, the three starters outside of Segrest and Gadeka had only been shooting 26% from the floor. So we're starting to see some of these other players come to life here at Finneran Pavilion.
How high is this team's ceiling if others come to life?
I think they're going to be in the middle of the pack in the Big East. But, you know, outside of DePaul, no one really knows what's going on. Is another offensive foul for the Friars on Kayla Webb. But as we talked about, this is a team that has a lot of new pieces, a lot of players with a much bigger role this season. So this is a great start for them on their home floor, Big East opener, to get the confidence of some other younger players going with these shots falling.
Looking at the Big East in general, the number 5 ranked conference. Pac-12, Big Ten, ACC, and SEC ahead of the Big East, but it's right there at the table. And the league's depth is off the charts, as you said. As coaches said, there's no gimmies in this league as Gardler turns it over with a travel. And we've just seen earlier today, you've got 3 road teams who won. Even home court isn't safe in the Big East.
Right, and last year it was really DePaul and Marquette. DePaul returns a lot. Marquette graduated their entire starting 5. A lot of teams graduated their top scorers. So the window is certainly open for some of these emerging teams who have been improving, like Providence, like Butler, to make a lot of noise.
That jumper good from Olivia Orlando. This team's leader, giving them a needed bucket to get back within 14.
And now they need to string together a few stops. They've gotten into a better rhythm offensively, but we talked to Kayla Webb. She said a lot of their defensive strength has come from drills in practice where they're forced to get multiple stops, and that's what they need right now.
James down the lane, and Raven James gets the friendly roll. She's got 7.
And that's a breakdown defensively. Not only do you get beat off the dribble, but no one stepped in to help. The help was a step late. Easy 2 for Raven James.
Geary couldn't hit it. Good defense by Segrest. This is part of the nightmare of playing Villanova at Segrest. Long on this 3. And a foul on the Wildcats. Once they get a lead, they can just trudge it up the floor.
Right, and even though that shot didn't go down, you have to contest that shot better for Segrest. She's their best three-point shooter. She had 6 threes in their last game versus LaSalle. You can't just let her get an open 3 off of 1 pass to start the offense. You have to deny the pass better. You have to contest better.
Bristow gets another look at it. Now pulled out by Lee. Providence heading to the WNIT round of 16 last year as Bristow's fouled, and the freshman has given Providence a solid contribution since she's coming off the bench. Segrest with the foul.
And that was some better movement offensively for the Friars. They weren't just stagnant, waiting for the first pass to come in. They started the offense with 2 down screens, and that's what allowed Bristow to curl and get to the line.
Evan Bristow off on the first. From Brooklyn, New York. Was a 20-20 machine in her high school days. She dominated in the high school level, and they said once she learns their system, they expect her to really break out.
There's a lot of New York City girls on this team, John. I like it. Someone outside of the city. I like to see the hard-nosed, gritty players coming from the city on this Friars team.
Segrest was blocked. There's some of that hard-nosed grittiness. And the Friars take a foul. They'll have it. We will take a break. Villanova, they are rolling in the conference opener. Friars looking for a rally. Big East basketball is driven by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Villanova up 15 on Providence. This little one is enjoying it at the Fin, and she knows about Maddie Segrest. If you don't, you better ask somebody.
And this was a 41-point game for Maddie Segrest, just the 3rd in Villanova program history, and an efficient 41. 13 of 19 from the field, 6 of 10 from 3, 9 of 10 from the free throw line, and she also had 10 rebounds, and hard to believe she's just a freshman. She is just a naturally gifted scorer. She can score in so many different ways. She's got that little hook shot around the rim. Just a tremendous addition for this Wildcats roster.
The last Villanova player to score that many points, you'd have to go back to Shelly Pennefather, one of the best players in Villanova history, and in her day, maybe the best in all of women's college basketball back in 1985. Of course, Harry Peretta was on the sidelines to witness that, too.
Of course. I mean, there's not much he hasn't been on the sidelines. You told me 76th meeting between these two teams, and he's coached every single one. 76 meetings.
Unbelievable. Bridget Herlihy a little bit long this time. Providence within 13, and plenty of time here, Kim, for them to find themselves.
They're definitely settling in a little bit. Heaven Bristow has given them a lift, as has Olivia Orlando, as Mary Baskerville on the bench with just 2 points early, but some other players starting to give their team a lift.
Orlando, the junior. Everybody you talk to on the Providence team says she is just our energy bunny. Multiple players using that phrase. Jim Crowley smiled when we brought up her name.
And they said she's the leader, she's the hardest worker, she picks you up, and she just does the smallest, littlest things on the floor that would never show up in a box score, but just impactful plays.
Friars can get back within single digits here. Left wing three is long, but a foul over the back on Spiewak.
And here's a look at that last basket. Olivia Orlando, a little fancy footwork there. I think she learned that from Mary Gadeka, who was guarding her. That was a very Gadeka-esque move.
Coming up on the Jeep Grand Cherokee halftime report, Mike Hill and Jim Jackson will have a feature on Olivia Orlando of the Providence Friars, and we'll have first half highlights and stats. That's coming up on the Jeep Grand Cherokee halftime report. Leg number 3 of an FS1 Sunday triple header. Glad to have you with us as Seagrass 3 is in and out. Great time of year in sports and in college hoops. All these rivalries are now getting renewed with the start of league play.
A little too stagnant right now for Providence. Keep moving that ball.
Erie just short. Rebound by Gadeka.
They just looked a little lost on that possession. Coach Crowley bringing back his starting point guard, Kayla Webb, to get the offense orchestrated better.
Still, the door cracked open for the Friars to get within single digits. Here's Lee. Off again, and another one-pass possession for the Friars.
Right, they're just not moving the ball like they should. That's when they're at their best, when that ball is whipping around. It's been a lot of perimeter, outside and around.
Gadeka so dangerous out of the post. Is both a passer and a finisher. And one for the senior.
And that is such a strong take by Mary Gadeka. Here it comes. You see 3 Friars collapse on her. She's able to maintain her grip on the ball and just step through with that big first step off the reverse pivot. And one for Mary Gadeka, who just continues to get better and better each season. This year averaging just under 17 a game.
Her mom, Lisa Angelotti, comes to campus often. Lisa, a great high school coach, and they'll shoot around. Lisa and Harry Peretta are still good friends, and Mary and her mom talk 5, 6, maybe 7 times a day, as that bucket's good for Spiewak.
And Coach Peretta, he always tells us they were 2 very different players. He said Lisa maybe a little bit more skilled, but Mary just as tough as it gets.
Don't you love the mother-daughter relationship?
You got to. I have a similar one. My mom was my high school coach.
How was that dynamic?
It was good. I got thrown out of practice once, but then we made our amendments and won a couple championships together.
If it makes you feel better, I won no championships and got thrown out of practice a bunch, and it wasn't by my mom.
Your mom is a great person, though. We've had some good Big East tournament hangouts with your mom.
She's
back at Wintrust for a third year. Chicago.
That's exactly right. 9th Providence turnover. Tickets went on sale today for the Big East Women's Basketball Tournament. You can head to bigeast.com/WBB tickets. Wintrust Arena in Chicago will host the 2020 edition. A lot of excitement around this conference. With DePaul, the reigning champs. UConn coming back next year. Got a foul underneath. This one's on Baskerville, and that is her second.
And that is just a killer, John. She had picked up that first offensive foul early, had been keeping it at just that one foul, and then to get it with less than a minute left in the half. Frustrating. You could see it on her face.
Cats could go 2 for 1. What they will not hear as Herlihy gives it off and gives it away. So the Friars will get it back with yet another chance to get this within single digits, and that would be a positive heading into halftime, considering they were down 16.
This is a big possession. I would run it down here. Looks like they are going to do so with just about a 2-second differential, shot clock and game clock, but they need a bucket here to get some momentum. They've got momentum but haven't been able to hold on to it consistently. This would be a great way to send them into the locker room.
And it's just Scott. He's the composed ball handler for this group. Webb with the runner is off. 5 seconds left. Herlihy up ahead. Lang, can she beat the clock? Off to Mullen. And that'll do it for the first half. Wildcats led by as many as 16. And they take an 11-point advantage into the break. Carrie Peretta starting its final trip around the Big East. And Villanova has started it with a bang, up 33-22 behind Mary Gadeka, Maddie Siegrist. Coming up, Mike Kill and Jimmy Jackson. Before that, we'll look at the first half. Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee as you look at the famous Geno Steaks here in Philadelphia. That's where we're bringing you the Big East women's basketball opener. As first half stats are driven by Jeep Grand Cherokee. What do you take away, Kim Adams?
Well, both teams shooting about the same percentage, but you look at that 3-point number. Providence, one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the nation. They've been cold so far, and then you look at those 9 turnovers to just 3 for the Wildcats. Providence has to do a better job of protecting the ball and a better job of getting high percentage shots.
Friars just 1 for 7 from 3. A team that came in shooting nearly 40% from beyond the arc. They've got to find themselves from beyond the arc.
And their 2 leading scorers have struggled. Mary Baskerville averaging 13 a game. She had 2. Kira Spiewak, 11 points a game. She had 2. So just 4 points in the first 20 minutes for those 2.
Conversely, Villanova's duo of Siegrist and Gadeka with a combined 18. Baskerville off. And Mary Baskerville just 1 for 5 from the field.
And I think it's important that she gets a bucket early because you can see on her face right now she's a little frustrated. So I think if she gets 1 basket, help her loosen up a little bit and get more comfortable in this game.
Siegrist with the floater is short. And a foul as Otkin was flying in. That's her second.
And if I'm Providence, like I was just saying, I think it's important as we take another look at this foul. Not much contact there, but we play on. I would get something easy for Baskerville right around the rim just to get her going a little bit. But Kayla Webb, that'll work as well. Nice take opposite across the lane there.
The door is open for these Friars. Single-digit game now. Harry Peretta, Villanova head coach, told us before this one that he feels like his team can fall asleep offensively at times. Right now, the Wildcats need a spark. Raven James has been that. Off, but the putback, that doesn't go either. Here comes Providence. Kayla Webb. Way off.
That's not the shot you want right now. You're coming out of the locker room. You can see the dismay and frustration on Coach Crowley's face right now. This is where they need to get their offense on track. Get back to their sets, moving the ball. A pull-up 3 in transition isn't going to get it done right now.
Friars just 1 for 8 from 3 today. On the back down, Herlihy kick out, 7 on the timer. Mary Gadeka with 11. Gadeka double, lays it off. Segrist just short, but an extra opportunity for the Cats. Segrist, tough collision. She goes down in pain. So it'll go back to the Friars.
And again, John, we'll take a look at this replay again. Segrist, a lot of contact there. A good stand by Olivia Orlando, just a physical play. But again, John, it appears to us right now that rebounding isn't a priority for the Friars. Like we said, this Villanova offense will spread you out, get you away from the basket, but you have to yell when that shot goes up so that all 5 teammates know, and right away they're turning and finding a body. Right now it's 2 offensive rebounds to start the second half, just like Villanova started the first half.
Baskerville surveying and wills that one in. Friars within 7.
And there you go. Like we said, some of her shots have been a little bit in and out, which is frustrating. I think she's just got to soften her touch around the rim a little bit like she did there. Let's see if that could get her fired up a little bit.
Onken back to Gadeka. The senior has led Villanova all day. Tough shot, and she swishes home the 3.
Tough shot is right, John. She loves going to the rim, but she's really starting to feel comfortable with that 3-point shot, and she shot it at 36% on the season so far.
Gadeka, an All-Big East second-teamer last year, looking like a first-teamer right now. Orlando's off. James inside. And Onken cut off. It'll stay with the Cats. How have you seen Gadeka evolve as a player?
Well, I think right away just the expansion of her range. As we said, last year she only had 11 threes. She had 13 coming into the game. Today she's already knocked down 2. So just her ability to evolve her 3-point shot, and I think just as a leader, they lost a couple of solid seniors, and now she realizes this is her team. There's a lot of young players, a lot of new pieces, and she's got to take control of this team.
Gadeka goes back to the Friars. We've seen Providence throw some counter punches here. There's Harry Peretta calling out Mary's name. His voice carries.
Oh, it certainly does. I mean, we could hear it through our headsets, so that's pretty telling.
And that's why he's a fan favorite. Everyone loves his passion as Williams is off. Bristow with the board. Freshman's given them a spark.
Absolutely. She's been one of the only players that's come in and really had her sights set on rebounding the ball, which is something they drastically need right now.
And with the extra chance they can't cash in, Spiewak continues her struggles. We saw Segrist with that collision just a few moments ago. And no call from our veteran officiating crew as Gadeka's long on the 3. Mark Berger, Rod Creech, and Ashley Gilpin. That's a welcome to Big East basketball. It requires toughness.
Certainly is, and Coach Peretta said she has been so exceptional offensively, and her physicality defensively, just adjusting to the physicality of the game in general, is something that's still a work in progress.
That was physical, all muscle from Segrist. She's up to 9 points.
And we see her do that time and time again this season. She has the ability to finish shots even while falling away from the basket, to just control her grip on the ball and really get it high up on the backboard. And look at her running the floor now.
She runs like a deer, but Erlette Scott picked it off. Scott rejected by Herlihy. How about staying home?
Harry Peretta was appalled by that live ball turnover. He actually dove onto the scores table in disgust. So nobody's happier than him that that ball didn't go in.
Segrist travels. Peretta fired up. His final trip around the Big East. He wants to make it count. And his Villanova team up by a dozen. They've got a dynamic freshman in Segrist who continues to power them. Bruce Feldman will have that one for you. Should be fun. We're back here at Finneran Pavilion. Villanova 38, Providence 26. John Fanta, Kim Adams with you. Big East women's basketball opening day, and the Friars looking for a response.
And they've been hanging around, John, this whole game within 10 or so points, but they just can't get some consistent offense. That should help. Janelle Williams to the rack and one.
Breaks up an 0-for-5 drought.
And Janelle Williams, she has been really quiet so far in this game, doing what she does best, taking Raven James off the dribble. And how about that acrobatic finish, absorbing the contact, laying it high up the glass to get the end one.
The junior from the Bronx hitting on the free throw, and we've got ourselves a 9-point game just like that. Brooke Mullen back on the floor. The nephew of the legendary Chris Mullen. So that jumper runs in the family. Here's Mullen. Thought about it. Now 7 on the shot clock. A near turnover. Onken sent away by Baskerville.
And that was a tremendous possession by Villanova. So much ball movement, but then Baskerville, big time block to send it the other way.
Webb just off on the 3. Providence now 1 for 9 from deep.
And that's another quick possession shot. We talked to Coach Crowley about his ideal pace for this team, and he wants to see them work it more in the half court. And right now, when you're struggling to score, you got to work to get to better looks.
Segrist, the freshman, and one into double figures.
Here's another look at it. Everything's pretty simple with her, John. That is just solid footwork. Baskerville comes in on the help, and she's able to lay it up and in even while being double teamed. Again, I know we said it earlier, but the confidence she exudes on the court, it's really hard to believe that she is just a freshman. I mean, can you imagine her numbers if she plays 4 years in the Big East?
Incredible. Has to be the front runner for Big East Freshman of the Year as Baskerville's to the bench with her 3rd foul. Erie with the kick out. Williams to Orlando. The junior can't muscle it up and in. Good defense by Mullen.
And John, we're seeing Mary Gadeka bring up the ball, and that's something Coach Peretta said they're doing this year. They're almost playing positionless. They like different players bringing it up and getting different looks in the offense depending on who brings it up and who gets them into their sets.
The Wildcats like to start with Raven James bringing the ball up the floor. But that's a wrinkle that they throw in with Gadeka or Segrist playing the point, a point forward in a way. And Harry Peretta said it too, when you see these teams twice in the Big East, you've got to throw in wrinkles in your game plan. Webb off the turnover, pull up. Long again, and the Friars shooting just 33%.
This is just a tough shooting night at some points for the Friars, because that's a good look right there for Kayla Webb, something she'll normally knock down.
Segrist can't hit. How much can you speak to that? When you're in conference play, you got to be able to throw in some wrinkles to throw some teams off.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the first time around, maybe not so much, but once you get second time play them, if you meet for a 3rd time in the tournament, then you start throwing in some different plays, out of bounds plays, just to shake things up.
Webb off on the jumper.
But it's more so, John, Coach Peretta's had to change things up because they lost a lot of personnel and they have a lot of new players, so veterans are taking on expanded roles, and Mary Gadeka is one of them who's starting to do it all for this Wildcats team.
Gardler racing to it, and it's out of bounds. To your point, Kelly Jacon, all Big East selection, out for the year with an injury, and she'll transfer out of this season to Penn State as Herlihy comes back on. Harry Peretta telling his team, we've got to shoot the basketball.
And that's another Harry Peretta voice ringing through the rafters. We could hear it through those headsets again. Shoot that ball if you're open, John.
Gotta love a coach who's telling you to shoot the ball.
I would sign up to play on that team. Green light.
You're a Big 5 alum, former Penn Quaker. Pull up is long.
Harry actually told us a funny story. He said in the St. Joe's game, it was dead silent at a free throw, and he yelled out, Cameron Onken, if you don't start shooting the ball, I'm taking you out of the game, when it was dead silent in the arena. And after that, she hit 2 threes.
She hit 2 threes, and Harry Peretta turned to his sports information director, Dean Kennefick, and said, see, I'm right.
You're coaching at the same school for 42 years. I think you might know a little something about hoops.
Again, folks, we told you earlier, he took this job at 22 years old. You won't find anybody younger taking on a college basketball head coaching job in the history of the sport. 8 on the timer for Gadeka. She's on Gadeka Island. The senior with the kick out. Herlihy off on the 3. And these offenses have stalled here late in the 3rd.
And that's what Villanova needs, is to develop those knockdown shooters like they had last year. So, because that was a great play by Gadeka and a great decision, but they need some people to consistently knock those deep shots down.
Just over a 6-second difference between shot and game clock. Bristow, the freshman, can't hit. 10 seconds remaining. The Cats up a dozen, looking to make it 14 or 15. Gadeka for 3. Just off. And the heave from Williams runs short. 30 down, 10 to go. And the Villanova Wildcats up by 12. We'll see if Providence can find some divine providence heading into the 4th. Tomorrow, it's back-to-back Big East men's conference openers starting at 6:30 Eastern. First, Xavier goes toe-to-toe with number 10 Villanova here at the Finn, followed by Seton Hall in a battle with DePaul. Catch all the action on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. You ready for Big East basketball?
I'm ready. I think it's similar on the women's side, a lot of uncertainty. And here you go. We got the 2 top defensive teams in the conference heading into conference play. And so far, it's been Villanova winning that battle. Providence shooting just 30% on the night through 3 quarters, and maybe more notably, just 1 of 9 from 3. And 3-point shooting has been excellent for them so far this season.
If you're Providence coach Jim Crowley, what are you telling your team heading into this 4th quarter?
I still haven't seen them get into any sort of rhythm offensively. And first off, it needs to start on the defensive end, because it's just been too easy for Villanova. So you have to get some stops, and then you really have to get back into moving that ball, not taking early shot clock shots or contested shots, getting the ball inside and out.
See what Jim Crowley's drawn up here in the 4th. Geary, the sophomore, was sent away by Segrist.
And that one she turned into the help. So you're pivoting into the help and now going up against 2 players.
Segrist, silky smooth, up to 15 points with her 2nd try.
That's an effortless 3, John. I'm excited to see her play. I don't know about the other 9 Big East women's coaches this season who have a lot of tape to watch on her.
Alyssa Geary with the move. For someone at her stature to put the ball on the floor and do that, she's got a special future as well. Onken just short, and the Friars come up with a stop. We talked about the wide openness in the Big East. Marquette up 3 on DePaul after 1. Marquette was picked at the bottom of the conference.
Wow. They graduated all 5 starters, all 1,000-point scorers, a new coach, a lot of uncertainty with that team, but they had a very strong non-conference slate.
Bristow and 1. And just like that, the Friars are within 11.
Having Bristow really been a bright spot for Providence. On a night where not a lot seems to be going well, Heaven Bristow, this may be a breakout sort of game for her. The freshman from New York City, she's looked confident. She's been able to come in and score, get rebounds right away for this Friars team.
Jim Crowley telling us she oozes with athleticism. Here's an extra chance for the Friars. A potential 4, maybe 5-point trip. Bristow. 10 on the timer for Geary. Geary. Left-handed finish for the sophomore.
At first, I didn't know where that was going, John. We had a couple bounces in place, which Coach Crowley likes to get away from, but she was able to really use her length, get inside, and finish over the top of the defense.
Gadeka, the back door left open.
You cannot fall asleep defensively against this Villanova offense for a second, or exactly that will happen. Mary Gadeka, one of the elite cutters in the nation. So many little garbage points. Not that they're garbage points, but just easy bunnies on simple back cuts.
Providence head coach Jim Crowley saying Villanova's good passers and they're great cutters.
Absolutely. That's what really any coach applauds Villanova on. And even if it seems they may be having a down year, with plays like this, they are always going to be tough when you come into their gym or they visit you, because your defense has to be on an elite level of communication. You have to all be on the same page with helping, recovering, how you're playing screens. Very tough, complex offense to defend.
A giveaway this time. You see the 5-5 record on the scoreboard, folks. Yet this Villanova team has played their best basketball as of late. They came into this one winners of 5 of 7. And all that is predicated on Maddie Siegrist. Since she has entered the starting lineup, the Cats are 5-2 and on the cusp of potentially 6-2 here. And more importantly, you're 0-0 right now in the Big East. That's all that matters.
Right, especially in their last few games. The team's shooting percentages have really gone up. They're moving the ball extremely well. Assist numbers are high, and we're starting to see this team figure out how they play when they're at their best. And a lot of time, that comes from a lot of points from Siegrist and Gadeka.
Bristow with 3, tough pull-up, and she got it. The freshman, a revelation with 9 points.
And again, Providence always hanging around this 9 or 10-point mark. 6 minutes left. Do they have it in them to make a run, to lock down on defense and get some stops?
Gardler for 3. Just short. Baskerville with the board. Friars trying to climb back in. Spiewak, Providence with just 1 3 today. Oh, what that would mean right now. Orlando, kick out. Bristow, the freshman, can't hit this time, and a great box out by Hurley to give Gadeka the board.
And John, you do have to credit this Villanova defense. Providence has missed some tough shots, but Villanova in general has done a very good job of containing penetration and recovering on kickouts.
Gadeka, just long, and another stop for the Friars. The door is open. Providence hasn't won here since 2011. 8 straight losses at the Pavilion. Baseline drive and an offensive foul on Spiewak, who's been held to just 2 points.
Taking another look at it, Spiewak. I think that one could have gone either way. A little bit of extension on that elbow. But again, a good job by Cameron Ongen to keep her in front and be in a position to draw that charge.
Cameron Ongen's line is amazing today. Only 2 points, but 5 assists, 7 rebounds. And Harry Paredes says we can't take her off the floor because of the way she defends.
She does so much for this Villanova team. She's not the one who needs to step up and be an extra scorer because of everything else she does on the floor.
All of a sudden, Villanova in a drought. Baskerville that held to 4 points. And she gives it away. A 13th Friar turnover. We will take a timeout. Jim Crowley looking to inspire his Friars here down the stretch at the Pavilion. Big East basketball is driven by Jeep Grand Cherokee. These Villanova fans, part of Nova Nation, looking for the Cats to close out a win as we take a look at some of the scores around the league. What stands out to you about day one of conference play?
I think it's a big road win for Seton Hall over a really improved Butler team. I had the chance to watch Seton Hall a few weeks ago give UConn a really, really good test. I think they have a lot of talent. St. John's picked second in the preseason poll. They're expected to make a big jump. Excited to see them play on Fox in a few weeks.
Villanova turning it over out of a timeout, and they're in a 3-minute scoreless drought. How about the Creighton Blue Jays? They were down double digits at Georgetown as you look at Harry Peretta, passionate as ever. The Blue Jays in the top 15, the national RPI, and they win their conference opener. They'll be here on New Year's Eve against Villanova. Jim Flannery's done a tremendous job with that program again. Williams inside, Baskerville pull up, clutch, and the Friars are within 7.
And that's what Providence needs more of. Unfortunately, only 4 minutes to go in this game. Baskerville needs to get more involved in the offense.
The Cats scoreless for nearly the last 4 minutes. Gadeika's given them critical bucket after critical bucket today. She's got 16 with her second double-double of the season. 6 on the timer. Raven James with 3. James kick out. Segrist beats the buzzer.
That is what you call an absolute dagger, John, because that was a phenomenal 29 seconds of defense by Providence. They didn't let anybody get by them off the dribble. And then the National Freshman of the Week, clutch from the corner.
A Hollywood script of a season for Segrist. Spiewak off. Scott Spiewak, pull-up triple. And that sums up Providence's day from 3. 1 of 10 for a top 10 three-point shooting team in the country entering this game.
And John, a lot of them just haven't been good threes, meaning they've just been kind of standalone. I'm just standing here, I'm going to dribble a few times, I'm going to shoot it. They haven't come off of ball movement, off of drive and kickouts.
Segrist pull-up, just long. Baskerville with the board, and the Friars got to move. Just 2.5 minutes left. Ball fake for Spiewak and hits the J. Timeout, Jim Crowley. Friars within 8. We'll take 1-2. Villanova looking to close out their conference opener. Providence trying to find a rally. Villanova 49, Providence 41 in the Big East women's basketball opener here on FS1. These two teams so stout defensively, it's been tough to find high percentage shots.
Well, we did give a bit of a disclaimer at the top. We said, you know, Christmas break, haven't played in about a week. We said we weren't sure how sharp the teams would be. It has been a grinded out sort of game. We'll see if Providence has one run left in them.
Some pressure out of the timeout. The closest the Friars have gotten is 7 here in this second half. Down by as many as 16, and now Harry Peretta answers with a timeout with 16 on the shot clock. We'll take 1-2. We'll see what the 42-year head coach has out of the TO. Villanova up by 8 as the Finneran Pavilion crowd gets into it. Kim, where would you go with the basketball here out of the timeout?
I think you keep it with Team M&M. Maddie Segrist or Mary Gadeika, they have had it going all season. See if they look to get something off of a cut, a post-up.
There's the post-up. Off to Herlihy, who's off on the 3. Rebound to the Friars. They can cut it to 6 or even 5 here. Williams, kick. Webb, top of the key 3. with 10 points now. Kayla Webb, these Friars will not go away.
Just their second 3 of the night, John. Previously 1 of 10 before that one. If there was ever time to hit it, it's now.
Gadeka, the senior, coming up in crunch time, up to 18.
Can't sleep on that opposite side when you're defending Villanova. They will curl, they will back cut. If you turn your head from your player, she will be gone into the rim.
Baskerville nearly gave it away. Janelle Williams, 13 on the timer. Williams, elbow jumper, got it. Timeout, Jim Crowley. And the Friars are still within striking distance here.
Janelle Williams, I don't think she's been involved in the offense enough tonight. The couple times we've seen her go one-on-one a little bit, she's got a really smooth pull-up game. Harry Peretta looking to sub himself into the game. How about that defensive stance from Coach?
That was big time. All you can think of here, Kim, is what would have happened if Providence didn't get off to a slower start. They got outscored 18-8 in the opening quarter. The two teams have played evenly since then. And in this fourth quarter, after 2 even quarters, we've seen the Friars go on a 17-10 run.
Right, I mean, we really didn't see them get any sort of confidence or even a little pep in their step, especially on the defensive end, until the 5-minute mark or so of this fourth quarter. So they're lucky to even be in the game right now.
Providence 8 for 13 in the fourth. Villanova just 4 for 11. And now pressure here out of the timeout. Villanova still with 3 timeouts remaining. So they can always stop things here if they'd like. Friars with just 1 left. Both teams with fouls to give. Oh, a strip! What a strip from Webb, and it goes back to Providence.
And that was a heightened intensity defensively, more ball pressure.
Webb for 3, and Providence is within 2. Timeout, Villanova.
Better late than never, John. Friars, again, these last few defensive possessions, we have not seen that intensity, and then we hadn't seen them hit many threes. Kayla Webb has now connected on her last 2 attempts. They are just 3 for 12, but she's hit 2 pretty big ones.
Providence head coach Jim Crowley told us that Kayla Webb has that gene of coming up big for her team. We saw it last year, was on the All-Big East freshman team, and now coming up huge from deep for the Friars. So we've got a 2-point game, and Villanova with 2 timeouts left. What's Harry Peretta telling his team now?
They need to settle in. We'll probably see them advance the ball here, John. They'll get it at half court. They want to use as much time as they can right now. I would run it down, not take a shot until about 7 seconds or less. Run that shot clock down. I would get something inside, not settle for a 3. I would get Gadeka or Segrist coming off of a curl screen or a back cut.
The Friars on a 10-2 run. They are experienced on the road, playing 10 of their first 12 games away from home. And today we're seeing that experience, that non-conference scheduling pay off, because they were down 16 at one point, and yet the resilience of this program is a reflection of their head coach, Jim Crowley, who has built this program back up from the bottom.
Right, and players we talked to, Kayla Webb, Mary Baskerville, they said being on the road really taught them how to depend on each other. They had a lot of time where it's just them. The crowd is against them, as it is now. So this is a comfortable situation for them, even though it's only their first conference game. And really interesting to see we have Mary Baskerville on the bench right now.
Mary Baskerville with 3 fouls, so it's not as if she's in trouble there. Maybe they'll go defense for offense. The Friars out of timeouts with 42.5 ticks left. Let's see what the legend Harry Peretta has drawn up here. What a game in the Big East women's basketball opener.
And for Providence, you just want to play this possession straight up defensively. Still a 1-possession game with plenty of time once you get the ball back.
Villanova with the 2 timeouts. Gadeka, the senior. And a timeout for the Wildcats with 9 on the shot clock. "42 years worth of plays, draw-ups, talks with his team. Harry Perretta looking to write another chapter. He has 334 Big East wins, looking for 335, and it's going to have to come in crunch time.
And they'll have just 9 seconds left on that shot clock once they come in. Providence, first of all, you want to make it as difficult as possible for them to even get the ball in. Denying passes, ball pressure on the inbounder unless they choose to double somebody else. But right now their defense has to be keyed on Gadeka and Seagrass. I would double them on a catch because no one has really shown the ability to knock an outside shot down tonight outside of those 2.
How much do you live for these moments?
This is great. This is it. Just night 1, John, a Big East play.
Almost a turnover. Gadeka, the senior. She leads this Wildcat team, feeds it off. Hurla, he's stuck. Inside, it's cut off by the Friars. 10 seconds left. Kayla Webb's led the comeback. 6 seconds to go. Now Webb with 4. She's fouled. Villanova with 3 to give.
Strategic play there by Villanova. New rules, last few years, you don't shoot until there are 5 fouls in the quarter. Just the second there for Villanova.
That foul does enable Jim Crowley to get his star back in, Mary Baskerville, who's been quiet today with just 6 points. Providence out of timeouts.
No threes for Villanova.
Scott the inbounder, looking, they don't have any timeouts. It's Williams, Janelle Williams for the win. She didn't get it off, and Villanova survives at the fin.
Providence didn't get a great look. I think that was a good strategy by Coach Perretta there to foul because it forced Providence to have to throw the ball out far. With only 3 seconds, maybe could have gotten a play going more to the basket, but what a finish, a comeback by Providence. Villanova able to hang on despite a really new group here at the Fin.
The Wildcats move to 1-0 in Big East play. Win number 771 all time for Harry Perretta. We'll talk with the legend after this.